Hi, welcome to Your Spectacular Life and Jody White's Coaching. I'm Jody White. I am your results coach, helping you live a regret-free life. Now, today we're going to be talking about how to immediately improve your relationships. And it's really interesting, normally they say, hey, in this relationship with a friend, family, work buddy, partner, it's not about you, it's about them. I'm going to switch things around, and I'm going to let you know that it is about you, not entirely, but it's really important to realize about what's going on internally and how you're communicating that to somebody else. Now, improving relationships is about your perceptions about yourself and mostly the other person. And there's a ton of tools out there, and understanding the other person and listening more closely to what they're saying and really, getting into their head. But there's also an aspect that you need to consider, and that is the way you perceive them. Are you allowing them to be their self? Can you figure out what they're trying to say to you? Are you dropping a lot of the misconceptions? Well, I put together some questions that will challenge these internal perceptions that we hang on to improve any relationships. And I invite you to have an open mind, and this is going to take some deep digging about what's going on when you're communicating to that other person in order to allow them to be their best self possible. First, I want you to think about whether or not you tend to focus on the positive or negative traits of that person, because that's going to flavor that conversation. It's going to flavor the way you talk to them. It's going to essentially come out in the way you treat them. So, do you feel good about that person? Do you need to get something off your chest? Do you need to let them know what's going on so things will be cleared in order to have a neutral conversation with them? The next is, do you generally give this person the benefit of the doubt? Why or why not? Are you carrying around some perceptions of something that they did that you haven't let go of? And are you in the back of your mind thinking, that person's going to maybe lie to me again, or, not follow through with something I've asked them to do? You need to let that go in order to uplift that relationship. Now, internally, when you're with them in any environment or circumstance, are you judging them? Are voices coming up that you're criticizing them about something they're saying, or maybe the way they dress, or maybe the car they're driving? Are you judging them to see if, hey, are they like me or are they not like me? And you have to let that go again in order for them to have their true self come out. And that will improve the relationship immediately, because we all know that when we are judged, that we may not want to hang out with that person. So be a person that you want to hang out with. Be a person who makes you likable and easy to talk with. Now, regarding this person who you're with, what do you like? What do you like about them? What positive things do you see in them that you can bring out, that you can ask about them? Positivity is so positive. Do you smile when you're with them? Do your eyes light up? Do you ask their opinion about certain things and then thank them later on for suggestions or new ideas? The next one is about freezing them in time. And this goes back to something I was talking about before. And that is, do you put them in a box and figure that they will always act or be a certain way? Because none of us like to be put in a box. None of us like to be considered predictable, even though we are predictable at times. But give them the benefit of the doubt of being able to change when they're with you, being able to follow through with something you ask. Also, think about what potential you see in them and also boost that potential. As a coach, I am boosting all the time because I can see potential where they're unable to see it. Just with a little help and encouragement and maybe even a plan, that person can come through and reach that potential. But it takes a village, and it's great when you can help them out with that. Now, if you dislike a behavior, I'm going to mention this once more, strongly communicate that in a positive way, starting with, when you do this, it makes me feel this way. And hey, my goal is to really be friends with you and have a great relationship. So can you lay off on the comments or the criticism back to me? That's all a great thing to do. Now, if you can't voice your dislike, then how else can you deal with the situation? You're creative. Maybe, you can take them out to lunch, or maybe you can have their boss sit in a meeting with you, or maybe you can get some counseling if it's a partnership relationship. If you just don't feel comfortable with that conflict, to really communicate, because that will show that you really care. The last step is showing empathy, and it really becomes a little more about them than your perceptions. Now, empathy is the art of seeing the world as somebody else sees it, through their eyes. What that person is feeling at any given moment. And essentially, it's getting into their head and being able to see what they're seeing. Maybe they're insecure, and that comes out as bragging. And you cut them a little slack, and you understand that this may stem from an insecurity. So what do? You bring out some of that support. You bring out boosting them. You bring out saying something positive to them. And that, if anything, will improve the relationship in a jiffy. Now, we all share some common needs: to be liked, to feel good, to feel what we're saying and doing in the world is accepted and acknowledged. And by following these steps, this will give you another chunk, or put you another chunk of the way towards doing that with yourself and others. And hey, it's a great opportunity for you to model this behavior so that person can support another person, and so on and so on. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Be sure to like my channel, subscribe to get more tips about how to live your spectacular life, doing the things you want with others. And please, if you like, leave a comment and visit my website, which will be yourspectacularlife.com and jodywhitescoaching.com. Have a spectacular day.